Hi, today's talk in History with Holly is entitled Power, Panic and Politics. This is another one in the Winston Churchill's History of the Second World War series. We're talking about the third volume today, which I've just finished, so I'm about to start the fourth. It's been a long journey. And thinking about the Battle of Tunisia. The Battle of Tunisia was a decisive battle and a win for the Allies in North Africa. And I just found it fascinating, the behaviour of Hitler and his war administration, many of whom by this stage in the war were not agreeing with what he said. So I should put that in perspective. So despite the fact that the Allies were clearly winning and taking a great deal of ground, Rommel, who had had a great deal of success he really was the desert battle tactician of German power. He was quite unwell and he had been invalided back to Germany. But the person who they got to replace him died within only a couple of weeks from a heart attack. So Hitler hauled him out of hospital and put him back to Tunisia. And despite the fact that the Germans were losing quite badly, Hitler continued to just push the same agenda, just push more and more and more men into the same strategy that he had. And it was tragic. And it made me think, like, that happens a lot. Leaders particularly, who seek power for its own sake, when it comes to panic, when things don't go well, they don't seem to be able to take a step back and reevaluate the situation and try a different route. When power is the objective, they tend to just double down, keep pushing the same barrow, and often, especially in this case, innocent people get hurt. General Alexander reported 30,000 German troops were taken prisoner after the Battle of Tunisia. He also reported German troops voluntarily giving themselves up and even laughing as they drove themselves on horse-drawn carts into the prisoner of war camps because they knew their cause was up, their cause was done. And yet Hitler was still pushing the same thing. He had an invalided general trying to do the work that needed a much fitter man, pushing the same strategy for what? And eventually for loss. And I think about today's politics, like when there's an election to be had or a seat to be held, they don't tend to want to be honest about things or change strategy. It's all about doubling down on your position and holding the party line instead of thinking about what's the best thing to happen. And I think I have to say something positive in this current situation of COVID-19. The party politics have been minimal on the COVID-19 issues. They're still surfacing in other issues, but parties have really pulled together to combat this. And that's great, and that's a real credit to our politicians. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Holly. Thanks for listening.